Welcome to a land where history whispers through every hill, where rivers carve their way through centuries, and where time seems to slow, inviting you to pause and truly see. This is Moldova, a country often overlooked, yet brimming with hidden wonders, ancient monasteries, lush vineyards, and forests that have stood for centuries. From cliffside sanctuaries etched into stone to underground wine cities that stretch for miles, Moldova is a place where nature, culture, and human resilience meet in perfect harmony. Join us on this extraordinary journey as we explore the most breathtaking landscapes, the hidden gems, and the timeless traditions of Moldova. Whether it's wandering through rolling vineyards, discovering centuries-old cave monasteries, or witnessing the serene flow of the Dniester River, each moment here tells a story you won't want to miss. Stay with us, because the wonders of Moldova are not only seen, they are felt. One of the most beautiful places in Europe were not the loudest, the busiest, or the most famous. What if true wonder existed quietly, waiting to be discovered by those willing to look beyond the obvious? Welcome to Moldova, a country rarely spoken of, yet rich in stories, landscapes, and traditions that feel untouched by time. Tucked between Eastern and Western Europe, Moldova exists in a space few travelers ever reach. It does not shout for attention. It does not rely on grand spectacles. Instead, it offers something far more rare: authenticity. Here, rolling hills stretch endlessly under wide skies, villages move at the pace of the seasons, and history lives not in museums alone, but in everyday life. Moldova's story is one of endurance. Over centuries, empires passed through, borders shifted, and identities were tested. Yet the soul of the land remained intact. This is a place shaped by resilience, where cultures blended without losing their essence. You can feel it in the architecture, hear it in the language, and taste it in the food shared at family tables. Nature defines the rhythm of life here. Vineyards blanket the countryside, forests whisper with quiet life, and rivers carve gentle paths through fertile land. Moldova's landscapes are not dramatic in scale, but they are deeply emotional. They invite you to slow down, to breathe, and to reconnect with a simpler way of being. In rural areas, time seems to pause. Elderly villagers work their gardens as they have for decades. Homes are built with care, not speed. Meals are prepared slowly, using recipes passed down through generations. Hospitality is not an industry here, it is a way of life. Guests are welcomed with warmth, stories, and homemade wine poured generously. Despite its quiet nature, Moldova carries immense cultural depth. Music, poetry, and folk traditions echo through celebrations and daily routines. These traditions are not performed for visitors, they are lived naturally, forming the backbone of national identity. Every song, dance, and pattern in traditional clothing tells a story of belonging. The capital city, Chișinău, reflects this contrast beautifully. It is calm yet alive, shaped by layers of history and modern ambition. Tree-lined streets, open parks, and modest architecture reveal a city that values space and balance. Here, progress moves thoughtfully, never rushing to replace what matters. Moldova is also a land of craftsmanship. From hand-woven fabrics to carved wood and homemade ceramics, skill is respected and preserved. These creations are not luxury items, they are expressions of culture and memory. Each piece carries the hands and history of its maker. Perhaps the greatest surprise of Moldova is how deeply it stays with you. It does not overwhelm. Instead, it settles quietly in the mind, revealing its beauty slowly, layer by layer. It challenges the idea that wonder must be loud or famous to be meaningful. This journey is not about checking landmarks off a list. It is about discovery of place, of people, and of a rhythm of life many have forgotten. As we travel through Moldova, you will uncover landscapes shaped by patience, traditions shaped by love, and a country defined not by what it shows the world, but by what it preserves within. This is Moldova, unseen, unhurried, and unforgettable. At first glance, Chișinău does not try to impress. It does not rise with towering skylines or overwhelm with spectacle. Instead, it invites you to look closer, to slow your pace, and to feel the subtle layers of a city shaped by history, resilience, and quiet renewal. This is the capital of Moldova, a place where contrasts live side by side, not in conflict, but in balance. Walking through Chișinău feels like moving through time. Wide boulevards lined with trees reflect careful planning from another era, while Soviet-era buildings stand as reminders of a complicated past. These structures are solid, practical, and unpretentious, carrying the weight of history without demanding attention. Yet among them, modern cafes, art spaces, and renovated neighborhoods signal a city steadily redefining itself. Green spaces are one of Chișinău's greatest treasures. Parks stretch across the city like breathing spaces, offering calm in the middle of urban life. Families gather, musicians perform quietly, and students sit beneath old trees, talking about dreams and plans. Nature here is not decoration, it is part of daily life, shaping how the city feels and moves. Local life unfolds gently. Markets buzz with conversation rather than urgency. Fresh produce, flowers, and homemade goods reflect the agricultural heart of the country. Vendors greet customers like neighbors, and transactions feel personal. In these moments, the city reveals its human scale, one built on connection rather than speed. Cultural institutions tell stories beyond politics and borders. Theaters, libraries, and museums preserve Moldova's artistic voice, celebrating literature, music, and history. Performances often feel intimate, allowing audiences to connect deeply with the emotion and meaning behind the art. Creativity here is sincere, driven by expression rather than spectacle. Chișinău's architecture reflects its layered identity. Orthodox churches stand quietly between residential blocks, their domes catching light in subtle ways. New buildings emerge carefully, not to replace the old, but to coexist. This blend gives the city a sense of continuity, a reminder that progress does not require forgetting. The people of Chișinău carry a gentle strength. Conversations are thoughtful, laughter is genuine, and hospitality is effortless. Cafes are places for discussion, reflection, and community. Time is spent together, not rushed away. This rhythm gives the city a warmth that surprises first-time visitors. As evening approaches, Chișinău transforms softly. Streetlights glow through tree branches, cafes fill with conversation, and the city settles into a calm energy. It is not loud nightlife that defines the capital, but a sense of comfort of belonging. Chișinău may not be the loudest capital in Europe, but it is one of the most sincere. Its beauty lies in its honesty, its balance, and its people. Here, you don't just visit a city, you experience a way of life shaped by patience, memory, and hope. In Chișinău, the past is acknowledged, the present is lived fully, and the future is approached with quiet confidence. There are places that feel untouched by time, where nature and history seem to breathe together. Orheiul Vechi is one of those rare places. Located in a dramatic limestone valley carved by the Route River, this ancient landscape is not just a destination. It is an experience that awakens something deep and timeless within you. As you approach Orheiul Vechi, the land opens slowly, revealing rolling hills, steep cliffs, and wide skies that seem endless. The silence here is powerful. It is the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but full of stories, footsteps, and centuries of human presence. This land has been inhabited for thousands of years, and every layer of earth holds a memory. Carved directly into the rock are cave monasteries that stand as symbols of faith and endurance. These caves, shaped by monks centuries ago, are simple and humble, yet deeply spiritual. Stepping inside, you feel the cool stone walls and the quiet devotion that once filled these spaces. Light filters softly through narrow openings, creating an atmosphere of reflection and peace. It is easy to imagine the prayers whispered here long ago, carried away by the wind. Orheiul Vechi is not just about history, it is alive. Nearby villages continue traditions passed down through generations. Farmers work the land, using methods shaped by experience rather than machine. Homes are modest, painted in soft colors, and surrounded by gardens that provide both beauty and sustenance. Life here moves at the pace of the seasons, not the clock. Walking through the valley, you begin to notice how perfectly everything fits together. The river curves gently, the hills protect the land, and the paths seem naturally placed, as if shaped by countless travelers before you. This harmony between people and nature is rare in the modern world, and Orheiul Vechi preserves it with quiet dignity. The views from above are breathtaking. Standing on the cliffs, you can see the entire valley unfold beneath you, a living painting of green fields, winding water, and distant rooftops. The wind carries the scent of grass and earth, grounding you in the moment. It is a place that invites stillness, where even your thoughts slow down. As the sun begins to set, the valley transforms. Golden light washes over the stone, shadows stretch across the hills, and the landscape takes on a dreamlike quality. This is when Orheiul Vechi feels most powerful, when time seems to pause, and you are fully present, connected to something far greater than yourself. Orheiul Vechi is not meant to be rushed. It asks you to walk slowly, to listen carefully, and to feel deeply. It is a reminder that true wonders do not need to be loud or grand. Sometimes, the most unforgettable places are the ones that speak softly, yet stay with you forever. In the heart of Moldova, Orheiul Vechi stands as a testament to endurance, harmony, and the quiet beauty of a world that still remembers how to breathe. Beneath the quiet surface of Moldova lies a hidden world so vast and extraordinary that it feels almost unreal. This is Cricova, a place where the earth itself has been transformed into a living cathedral of wine, history, and tradition. What appears from above as an ordinary town conceals an underground city stretching for more than 100 kilometers, carved deep into limestone rock. As you descend into Cricova, the temperature cools and the air changes. It carries the unmistakable scent of aged wine, stone, and time. These tunnels were originally created by stone mining, but over generations, they became something far more remarkable. Today, they form one of the largest wine cellars in the world, a symbol of Moldova's deep and enduring connection to winemaking. The scale of Cricova is difficult to comprehend until you are inside. Streets underground are named just like those above ground: Cabernet Street, Sauvignon Street, Pinot Street, guiding you through endless corridors lined with oak barrels and bottle-filled niches. Some bottles here have rested undisturbed for decades, even centuries, aging quietly in perfect natural conditions. Wine in Moldova is more than a drink. It is identity, heritage, and pride. At Cricova, this becomes unmistakably clear. Each barrel tells a story of harvests shaped by sun and soil, of families who passed down knowledge through generations, and of a culture that survived empires, borders, and political change, always rooted in the land. Walking deeper into the tunnels, you sense how carefully everything has been preserved. The limestone walls naturally regulate humidity and temperature, creating an ideal environment that modern technology still struggles to replicate. This harmony between nature and human craftsmanship is what gives Cricova its magic. Some chambers feel almost ceremonial. Vast halls open unexpectedly, decorated with arches, chandeliers, and artistic stonework. These spaces have hosted world leaders, historic celebrations, and moments of quiet reflection. Yet, despite its fame, Cricova never feels artificial. It feels authentic, grounded, and deeply Moldovan. Beyond the grandeur, there is also intimacy. Small tasting rooms invite visitors to pause, to listen, and to savor. Each glass of wine carries layers of flavor shaped by climate, patience, and care. The experience is not rushed. It encourages you to slow down, to appreciate the subtle details, and to understand that great things are created over time. What makes Cricova truly special is its symbolism. It represents how Moldova has learned to look inward, to transform what lies beneath the surface into something extraordinary. In a world that often celebrates speed and excess, Cricova stands as a reminder of patience, balance, and respect for tradition. As you eventually return to the surface, daylight feels different. You carry with you not just memories, but a deeper understanding of Moldova's soul. Cricova is not simply a wine cellar. It is a hidden city of stories, quietly aging beneath the land, waiting for those curious enough to discover it. In Moldova, some of the greatest wonders are not found on mountaintops or coastlines, but beneath your feet, enduring, silent, and rich with life. There is a place in Moldova where stone, silence, and faith come together in a way that feels timeless. Orheiul Vechi is not just a destination, it is an experience carved directly into the heart of the land. Long before modern cities and borders existed, this dramatic landscape was already alive with human presence, spiritual devotion, and quiet resilience. As the river route winds through deep limestone cliffs, it shapes a natural amphitheater unlike anything else in Eastern Europe. From above, the scene feels cinematic: rolling hills, opening suddenly into steep rock walls, caves punctured into stone, and open grasslands stretching into the horizon. This is Orheiul Vechi, a place where history does not sit behind glass, but breathes in the open air. Human life here dates back thousands of years. Ancient civilizations settled along these cliffs, drawn by water, protection, and fertile land. Over time, different cultures left their marks: Ghetto-Dacians, Tatars, medieval Moldavians, each layer adding depth to the story embedded in the rock. Walking through Orheiul Vechi is like turning the pages of a living history book, written not in ink, but in earth and stone. The most striking feature of Orheiul Vechi is its cave monasteries. Carved directly into the limestone cliffs, these sacred spaces were shaped by monks seeking solitude and closeness to the divine. The caves are modest, quiet, and deeply moving. There is no ornamentation meant to impress, only simplicity, humility, and devotion. In this silence, faith feels raw and genuine. Inside these rock-hewn chambers, time seems to slow. Light filters gently through small openings, illuminating walls smoothed by centuries of prayer. You can almost feel the presence of those who lived here long ago, men who chose isolation not as escape, but as purpose. Their lives were defined by patience, discipline, and connection to something greater than themselves. Beyond the caves, Orheiul Vechi opens into wide pastoral landscapes where traditional village life continues, much as it has for generations. Sheep graze along hillsides, wooden houses rest quietly beneath the sky, and the rhythm of rural Moldova unfolds naturally. There is no performance here, only authenticity. What makes Orheiul Vechi extraordinary is the harmony between humans and nature. Nothing feels forced. The monasteries do not dominate the cliffs. They belong to them. The villages do not interrupt the landscape. They grow from it. This balance creates a sense of peace that is rare in the modern world. Standing at the edge of the cliffs, looking down at the river far below, you understand why this place has endured. Orheiul Vechi is not loud or dramatic in the traditional sense. Its power lies in quiet presence, in the feeling that life here has always moved at a thoughtful pace. As the wind moves across the valley and the sun casts long shadows on the rock walls, Orheiul Vechi reveals its true beauty, not as a monument to the past, but as a reminder of what endures when people live in harmony with their surroundings. In Moldova, history does not demand attention. It waits patiently. And at Orheiul Vechi, it speaks softly to those willing to listen. There is a moment in Moldova when nature feels almost untouched by time, where forests stretch endlessly, hills roll gently into the distance, and silence becomes part of the landscape. This is the realm of Codri Forest, the green heart of the country and one of its most ancient natural sanctuaries. Long before cities rose and borders were drawn, these woods were already standing, watching generations come and go beneath their canopy. Codri is not just a forest, it is a living archive of Moldova's natural soul. Covering vast areas of central Moldova, these dense woodlands once stretched across much of the region, providing shelter, resources, and protection to early communities. Today, what remains is carefully preserved, offering a rare glimpse into the primeval landscapes of Eastern Europe. As you enter Codri Forest, the air immediately changes. It feels cooler, heavier with the scent of earth, leaves, and moss. Sunlight filters softly through towering oak, hornbeam, and beech trees, creating shifting patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. Every step feels deliberate, as if the forest invites visitors to slow down and move with intention. This forest has always been a refuge. During times of invasion and unrest, locals sought safety among these trees, using their deep knowledge of the land to survive. The forest became a silent protector, concealing villages, hiding resistance, and preserving traditions when the outside world grew dangerous. Codri does not tell these stories aloud, but they linger in its stillness. Wildlife thrives here in quiet balance. Deer move carefully between trees. Foxes disappear into the undergrowth, and countless bird species fill the air with subtle sound rather than noise. Unlike more commercialized nature reserves, Codri remains understated. It does not perform, it exists. At the heart of this forest lies Codri Nature Reserve, one of Moldova's oldest protected areas. This sanctuary safeguards rare plant species, ancient trees, and delicate ecosystems that have survived centuries of change. Some trees here are hundreds of years old, their roots gripping the soil like anchors to history itself. Walking along forest trails, you begin to understand why Codri has inspired Moldovan folklore for generations. Legends speak of spirits guarding the woods, of travelers guided safely through the trees, and of secrets hidden beneath fallen leaves. Whether one believes these tales or not, the forest carries a presence that feels deeply alive. In spring, Codri awakens in color wildflowers carpeting the forest floor, birds returning with renewed energy, and streams flowing with fresh life. In autumn, the forest transforms into a mosaic of gold and fire, leaves crunching underfoot as the air turns crisp and reflective. Each season reveals a different personality, yet the forest's essence remains unchanged. What makes Codri truly remarkable is its quiet resilience. In a world that constantly reshapes nature to fit human needs, this forest stands as a reminder of coexistence. Here, humans are visitors, not rulers. The forest sets the pace, the mood, and the rules. As you leave Codri, there is a lingering sense of calm, as if the forest has shared something unspoken. It does not ask to be remembered, yet it stays with you. In the heart of Moldova, Codri Forest continues to breathe, grow, and endure, offering a rare and precious connection to nature, as it once was and still can be. There is a place in Moldova where stone and faith come together in breathtaking harmony, where history is carved directly into the cliffs, and where silence feels sacred. This is Orheiul Vechi, not just one of Moldova's most iconic landmarks, but a spiritual and cultural heart that has watched civilizations rise, vanish, and leave their mark behind. Orheiul Vechi lies within a dramatic limestone gorge carved by the Route River, its winding path shaping the land over thousands of years. From above, the landscape looks almost unreal. Rolling hills suddenly break into steep cliffs, revealing caves, terraces, and ruins that seem suspended between earth and sky. This natural fortress has drawn human settlement for more than 2,000 years. As you approach the site, the first thing you feel is scale. The cliffs rise quietly, not aggressively, and the river flows below with patient determination. It's easy to understand why ancient peoples chose this place. It offered protection, visibility, and a connection to nature that felt both practical and spiritual. What makes Orheiul Vechi extraordinary is its layered history. Dacians, Mongols, Tatars, and medieval Moldovans all passed through here, each leaving traces behind. Ruins of fortifications, remnants of ancient towns, and forgotten pathways are scattered across the plateau, blending seamlessly into the landscape. Nothing feels forced. History here was not built over nature, it was shaped by it. Perhaps the most striking feature is the cave monastery, carved directly into the cliff face. Dating back to medieval times, these humble chambers were home to monks who chose isolation and devotion over comfort. Walking through the narrow passages, you can almost hear the echoes of whispered prayers, the soft footsteps of those who lived their entire lives devoted to faith. The church that still stands at Orheiul Vechi feels timeless. Its white walls contrast gently with the rugged stone around it, symbolizing humanity's quiet attempt to find peace within a powerful landscape. From this vantage point, the view stretches endlessly: fields, river bends, and distant villages unfolding like a living painting. Despite its historical weight, Orheiul Vechi never feels heavy. There is an openness here, a sense of calm that invites reflection rather than awe alone. Locals often come not just to admire the scenery, but to reconnect with their heritage, their beliefs, and the land itself. As the day progresses, the light transforms the cliffs. Morning brings soft shadows and cool tones, while sunset bathes the entire valley in warm gold. This changing light reveals new details, carvings in the rock, subtle curves in the hills, and paths once traveled by countless generations. Orheiul Vechi is also deeply tied to Moldovan identity. It represents endurance, adaptability, and harmony with nature. In a rapidly modernizing world, this place remains grounded, unchanged by trends or time. It does not demand attention, it earns it. Standing here, with the wind moving gently through the gorge and the river continuing its endless journey, you realize that Orheiul Vechi is not a destination to rush through. It is a place to pause, to breathe, and to listen. In the quiet strength of its cliffs and the enduring faith carved into stone, Moldova reveals one of its most profound wonders, a timeless dialogue between humanity, history, and the land itself. There is a quiet elegance to Moldova that reveals itself far from the cities, in landscapes shaped by patience, tradition, and time. In the southern part of the country, this elegance unfolds through vineyards that stretch to the horizon, villages that move at a gentler pace, and a way of life rooted deeply in the land. This is the world of Moldova's wine country, a place where culture flows as richly as the wine itself. Moldova is one of the oldest wine-producing regions in the world, with a winemaking history that dates back thousands of years. Long before modern borders existed, vines were already growing in this fertile soil, nurtured by a climate perfectly balanced between sun and rainfall. Wine here is not a luxury or a trend, it is a tradition passed from generation to generation, embedded in everyday life. Driving through the countryside, the scenery feels endless. Rolling hills are lined with orderly rows of grapevines, their colors shifting with the season's vibrant green in summer, deep red and gold in autumn. Small villages appear between vineyards, their homes surrounded by gardens, fruit trees, and cellars hidden underground. Beneath this peaceful surface lies one of Moldova's greatest wonders. Vast, underground wine cellars carved deep into limestone. Places like Cricova and Milestii Mici are not merely wineries. They are subterranean cities. Miles of tunnels stretch beneath the earth, once used as limestone quarries, and now transformed into climate-perfect storage for millions of bottles. Some cellars are so large that visitors travel through them by car, passing streets named after wine varieties. Inside these tunnels, time feels suspended. The air is cool and still, and rows upon rows of bottles rest in silence, some aging for decades. Each bottle carries a story of harvests shaped by weather, of families who tended the vines, of celebrations and moments preserved in glass. Wine in Moldova is inseparable from hospitality. Visitors are welcomed not as customers, but as guests. A tasting is rarely just about flavor. It becomes a conversation, a shared meal, a moment of connection. Traditional dishes appear alongside the wine, and stories flow as freely as the drinks themselves. Beyond the famous cellars, smaller family-owned vineyards offer an even more intimate experience. Here, winemaking remains hands-on and deeply personal. Many producers still rely on traditional methods, using techniques refined over centuries. These vineyards may lack international fame, but they hold something equally valuable: authenticity. The wine routes of Moldova are also journeys through culture. Along the way, travelers encounter monasteries tucked into hillsides, roadside markets filled with seasonal produce, and locals eager to share their way of life. Every stop adds another layer to the story of the land. As evening falls over the vineyards, the landscape softens. The sky glows with fading light, and the quiet hum of rural life continues uninterrupted. In these moments, Moldova's wine country reveals its true essence, not as a destination of spectacle, but as a place of depth, tradition, and quiet pride. In the rhythm of the vines, the cool silence of underground cellars, and the warmth of shared tables, Moldova shows a different kind of wonder. One that is not rushed, not loud, but deeply satisfying. A reminder that some of the richest experiences in the world are best savored slowly. Along the banks of the Dniester River, Moldova reveals a quieter, more contemplative side, one shaped by flowing water, enduring traditions, and communities that have learned to live in harmony with nature. This region, stretching through eastern Moldova, offers a journey not only across landscapes, but through layers of history and identity that feel deeply personal and profoundly human. The Dniester is more than a river. It is a lifeline. For centuries, it has nourished the land, connected settlements, and served as a natural boundary and bridge between cultures. Its calm surface reflects the sky above, while its steady current carries stories from one generation to the next. Traveling along the river, the scenery shifts gently. Forested slopes give way to open fields, cliffs rise unexpectedly from the water's edge, and small villages appear almost organically, as if they grew from the land itself. Life here follows the river's rhythm, unhurried, resilient, and deeply rooted. One of the most striking features of this region is its spiritual heritage. Monasteries and churches are often found tucked into remote hillsides or overlooking the river, their presence understated yet powerful. Places like Saharna Monastery, set amid waterfalls and forested paths, offer a sense of peace that feels untouched by time. Pilgrims and travelers alike are drawn here, seeking reflection rather than spectacle. The villages along the Dniester hold tightly to tradition. Wooden houses, hand-painted fences, and gardens bursting with vegetables and flowers reflect a way of life shaped by self-sufficiency and community. Locals still practice age-old customs, from traditional weaving to seasonal festivals that celebrate harvest, faith, and family. History here is complex and layered. The Dniester region has witnessed empires rise and fall, borders shift, and identities evolve. Remnants of fortresses and ancient settlements quietly mark the landscape, their stones worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. These sites do not dominate the view. They blend into it, reminding visitors that history is not always loud. As the day unfolds, the river becomes a mirror of changing light. Morning brings mist that rises slowly from the water, softening the outlines of trees and cliffs. By afternoon, the river reflects the deep blue of the sky, and in the evening, it glows with the warm hues of sunset. Each moment feels intimate, almost private. Fishing boats drift quietly near the shore, and the sound of water against wood becomes a gentle background rhythm. Birds move effortlessly across the sky, and the air carries a sense of openness that is increasingly rare in the modern world. What makes the Dniester region truly remarkable is its balance. Nature, history, and daily life coexist without competing for attention. Nothing here feels staged or preserved for display. It is simply lived day after day, season after season. As you leave the river behind, there is a lingering sense of calm. The Dniester does not impress with grandeur. It connects with quiet strength. In its flowing waters and steadfast communities, Moldova reveals a wonder built on continuity, resilience, and the enduring bond between people and place. There is a hidden rhythm to Moldova that reveals itself only to those willing to look beyond the obvious, a rhythm that flows through its hills, forests, rivers, and villages, connecting past and present in ways both subtle and profound. This final chapter of our journey begins with a reflection on what makes Moldova not just a place to visit, but a feeling to experience a country that lingers long after you leave. As you travel through Moldova, it becomes clear that the country's greatest treasures are not always grand or famous. They are quiet, authentic, and deeply human. Rolling vineyards, centuries-old monasteries, cave sanctuaries, and dense forests all share one common quality. They are alive with history, culture, and care. Each location carries the imprint of generations who lived, loved, and worked in harmony with the land. Take, for instance, the rural villages scattered across the countryside. Life here moves to the pace of seasons rather than clocks. Women bake bread in clay ovens, elders weave textiles by hand, and children play along dusty paths lined with wooden homes. Every act is small, but together they create a tapestry of continuity and tradition that feels almost sacred. Hospitality is not a service, but a way of being. Visitors are welcomed not as outsiders, but as part of the community, invited to share meals, stories, and the rhythms of daily life. The natural landscapes of Moldova amplify this sense of connection. The Codri forests, ancient and dense, remind us that patience and resilience are built into the land itself. The Dniester River moves with quiet determination, nurturing life along its banks and reflecting the sky's ever-changing moods. Orheiul Vechi, with its dramatic cliffs and cave monasteries, teaches that history is not only preserved in books or museums, but carved into the very earth. Each scene, each moment, asks you to slow down and notice details often overlooked in our fast-paced world. Wine, too, embodies Moldova's essence. In the underground cellars of Cricova and Milestii Mici, thousands of bottles rest quietly, aging through decades, even centuries. Here, time is measured differently by harvests, seasons, and the patient hand of the winemaker. A simple tasting is not about indulgence. It is a lesson in care, patience, and the way small actions over generations create something extraordinary. Moldova's people carry a resilience that matches the land. They have weathered centuries of change, foreign rule, and economic challenges, yet the soul of the country remains intact. In cities like Chișinău, you can feel the quiet determination to preserve culture and identity while embracing the present. In the countryside, the past is alive, blending seamlessly with the rhythms of today. This journey through Moldova is not defined by a single landmark or experience. Its magic lies in the cumulative effect, the interplay between people, history, culture, and nature. It is in the pause to watch sunlight filter through forest leaves, the smile of a villager sharing homemade wine, the awe of standing at the edge of a cliff overlooking an ancient monastery. Each moment reinforces the idea that true wonder is often found in authenticity, continuity, and connection. As we continue through the final chapters of Moldova, it becomes clear that this country is more than a destination. It is a story, a living, breathing narrative that exists in harmony with its landscapes, its traditions, and its people. Every hill, river, and village is a page waiting for travelers to read, feel, and carry forward in memory. Moldova's hidden beauty is not loud or obvious, but it is enduring. And for those willing to immerse themselves fully, it leaves a mark far greater than any famous landmark ever could. This is just the beginning of the story, yet it is enough to understand one truth. Moldova is a country that must be experienced to be believed, a place where every moment is infused with life, history, and quiet wonder. Moldova's essence is revealed not only in its landscapes and villages, but in the intimate experiences that connect travelers to the heart of the country. In this chapter, we continue our journey through the hidden layers of Moldova, discovering the places and moments that linger long after the visit ends, leaving an imprint that is both gentle and profound. One of the most captivating aspects of Moldova is its network of traditional villages. These settlements are not designed for tourism. They exist for life itself. Narrow dirt roads wind between homes with colorful wooden fences, gardens brimming with vegetables and flowers, and small courtyards where families gather. Life here is defined by the cycles of the seasons, and every day brings rhythms shaped by the land, planting, harvesting, tending animals, and preparing meals that are as much about tradition as sustenance. In these villages, the people are custodians of stories. Elderly residents remember eras before modern conveniences, speaking of times when communities relied entirely on one another. They share tales of resilience, survival, and celebration. Every story is a thread, weaving the fabric of Moldovan culture. Visitors who listen carefully begin to understand that these are not mere anecdotes, they are living history, preserved through memory, practice, and care. Moldova's rivers and valleys contribute equally to the country's character. Beyond the Dniester, smaller streams and tributaries cut through the landscape, nurturing fertile land and shaping the way communities thrive. Fishermen cast lines at dawn, and the gentle ripple of water against riverbanks provides a calming soundtrack to daily life. These waters are not only essential for agriculture and sustenance, they are part of the country's spiritual and emotional landscape, representing continuity, patience, and connection. Nature and human life coexist with remarkable balance. Forests like Codri are sanctuaries for wildlife and preserve ecosystems that have endured for centuries. In spring, wildflowers bloom across meadows, bringing color to the hills. In autumn, leaves turn gold and crimson, creating scenes of breathtaking beauty. Here, the air feels different, heavier with life, fresher, and more alive. Every step through these forests reminds travelers that Moldova's true wonder is found in its subtlety, in spaces where life continues uninterrupted and unpretentious. Moldova's culinary traditions provide yet another intimate connection. Local meals are simple, hearty, and deeply reflective of the land. Fresh bread baked in clay ovens, stews simmered with locally grown vegetables, and wines produced from regional vineyards all speak of a culture that celebrates patience and care. Meals are shared communally, often accompanied by songs, laughter, and storytelling, a reflection of the country's emphasis on community and human connection. The wine culture, in particular, cannot be overlooked, while the massive underground cellars of Cricova and Milestii Mici awe with their scale. Smaller family-run vineyards reveal the personal side of Moldova's winemaking. These are places where each bottle is crafted with attention and reverence, where generations have perfected techniques through trial, care, and respect for the land. Tasting wine here is not simply about flavor, it is about understanding history, culture, and the intimate dialogue between humans and nature. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Moldova is how it balances memory and modernity. Cities like Chișinău may show signs of contemporary life, cafes, shops, and art spaces, yet the essence of the country remains grounded in its heritage. The urban and rural exist not in opposition but in harmony, illustrating a society that values its past while navigating the present with care. Even as travelers leave, Moldova leaves them with more than images or souvenirs. It leaves a sense of quiet wonder, a feeling of connection to people, land, and history that cannot be replicated elsewhere. The hills, forests, monasteries, and villages do not compete for attention. They invite reflection, patience, and mindfulness. This is what makes Moldova profoundly memorable. In every corner, Moldova whispers its stories of resilience, harmony, and enduring beauty. Those who take the time to listen discover a country that does not overwhelm with grandeur, but rewards deeply with authenticity. Here, travel is not about checking off landmarks, but about experiencing the living rhythm of a nation that has endured, flourished, and continues to inspire. Moldova is a subtle wonder, and in this chapter, we begin to understand that its most powerful magic lies not in what is seen at first glance, but in what is discovered slowly, patiently, and fully. As we reach the final stretch of our journey through Moldova, a profound sense of reflection settles in. This is a land that does not boast with monuments or loud displays of grandeur. Instead, it captivates through subtlety, authenticity, and the quiet pulse of life that flows from its hills, rivers, forests, and villages. To truly understand Moldova, one must immerse fully, not rush through it. Only then does its enduring charm, layered history, and human warmth reveal themselves. The heart of Moldova lies in its people. Across the countryside, in towns large and small, the locals embody resilience, hospitality, and an enduring connection to the land. Conversations are genuine, laughter unforced, and gestures of generosity commonplace. Whether you meet a farmer tending vineyards, a craftsman shaping wood, or a family gathering in a courtyard, each interaction reflects a culture that values patience, tradition, and shared experience. Travelers quickly realize that here, human connection is as vital as the land itself. One cannot speak of Moldova without returning to the natural landscapes that define it. Rolling hills, fertile plains, dense forests, and the ever-present Dniester River shape both the daily life and the soul of the nation. Each season transforms these landscapes in vivid ways. Spring awakens the countryside with wildflowers and fresh growth. Summer bathes it in warmth and sunlight. Autumn sets it ablaze with gold and crimson, and winter drapes everything in calm silence. In each phase, Moldova feels alive, yet gentle, powerful, yet approachable. Orheiul Vechi, with its dramatic cliffs and cave monasteries, reminds us of the intertwining of history, spirituality, and human endurance. The monks who carved sanctuaries into stone centuries ago did more than create a place of worship. They established a legacy of harmony between people and nature, devotion, and daily life. Visitors today can feel the depth of that legacy, a quiet reminder of faith, discipline, and the beauty of simplicity. In parallel, Moldova's wine country reflects a different, yet equally profound rhythm. Miles of vineyards stretch toward the horizon, each grapevine nurtured with care and patience. In the underground cellars of Cricova and Milestii Mici, bottles rest for decades, silent witnesses to time and tradition. Wine here is more than a product. It is history in liquid form, a bridge connecting the present to generations long past. Sharing a glass in a local cellar is not merely tasting. It is participating in a cultural ritual, a gesture of welcome, and an immersion in the story of a people and their land. Beyond the vineyards and monasteries, Moldova's villages remain living testaments to heritage. Wooden homes with painted shutters, garden plots bursting with produce, and narrow lanes echoing with the laughter of children all speak to a way of life preserved through resilience. Here, traditions are not performed for tourists, but lived daily, passed quietly from one generation to the next. Visitors who slow down and listen are rewarded with stories of continuity, survival, and quiet pride. Even Moldova cities carry a gentle charm. Chișinău, the capital, is not ostentatious. Instead, it invites exploration through leafy boulevards, vibrant markets, and cultural institutions that reflect the nation's intellectual and artistic life. Cafes buzz softly with conversation, galleries showcase creativity rooted in history, and streets carry a rhythm both urban and human, bridging the gap between past and present. Ultimately, Moldova's wonder is in the balance between nature and humanity, history and modernity, quiet reflection and enduring vitality. It does not seek to overwhelm, it seeks to connect, to teach patience, to remind travelers that the most lasting impressions are not always loud, but profound in subtlety. Every river bend, vineyard row, monastery wall, and village path contributes to a mosaic of life that is deeply alive and authentically Moldovan. As the sun sets over the rolling hills and the rivers reflect the fading light, a sense of serenity settles over the land. Moldova has shared with us its stories, its beauty, and its essence. These experiences, simple yet layered, leave a lasting imprint. They remind us that travel is not only about seeing the world, but feeling it, breathing it, listening to it, and carrying it forward in memory and spirit. Moldova is not a fleeting spectacle. It is an enduring experience. It is a country that teaches through its landscapes, its people, and its traditions. And as our journey concludes, one truth remains unmistakable. The greatest wonders of Moldova are not only places on a map, but the deep, subtle, and unforgettable connections we form with them, the essence of a nation, quietly but powerfully alive. It becomes clear that the country's greatest wonder is not a single landmark, a monumental building, or a famous site. It is the experience of the land itself, the way every hill, river, forest, and village breathes with life, history, and human spirit. Moldova reveals itself slowly, patiently, rewarding those who take the time to truly look, listen, and feel. One of the most powerful lessons of Moldova is the enduring connection between people and place. In the quiet villages, families continue practices that have existed for generations. Clay ovens bake bread with the same care as 100 years ago. Vineyards are tended with knowledge passed down from parents to children, and folk traditions, from music to crafts, live daily, not as spectacle, but as essential rhythm. Observing this way of life, you understand that the soul of Moldova is preserved in continuity, in acts of care, in stories told and retold, and in a deep respect for the land that sustains them. The natural landscapes here reinforce that sense of quiet wonder. Kodri Forest, dense and ancient, offers a sanctuary of life, stillness, and reflection. Walking among towering oaks and beech trees, you feel the weight of centuries pressing gently down, reminding you that patience is a form of power. Rivers like the Deester meander through valleys, sustaining ecosystems, nourishing communities, and carrying with them the calm rhythm of nature's own heartbeat. These spaces do not demand attention, but they reward it, revealing beauty in details. The curve of a riverbank, the pattern of sunlight through leaves, the subtle harmony of life continuing undisturbed. Orheiul Vechi, perhaps Moldova's most iconic site, brings together history, faith, and landscape in a way few places can. The cliffside cave monasteries testify to centuries of devotion, discipline, and resilience. Standing at the edge of the cliffs, gazing across the river valley below, you sense the continuity of human presence, how generations have shaped, adapted to, and been shaped by this land. Here, history is not behind glass. It is alive, felt in stone, wind, and river. Wine culture is another thread that binds Moldova's past and present. In underground labyrinths, such as Cricova and Milestii Mici, millions of bottles age in silence, a living archive of time, patience, and craft. The experience of tasting wine here is more than a sensory indulgence. It is an immersion in culture, a ritual that honors labor, nature, and tradition. Every sip carries with it centuries of care, and each cellar is a reminder that great things are built slowly, with attention and love. Throughout Moldova, there is a theme of balance. Modernity exists alongside tradition, cities complement the countryside, and human life harmonizes with nature. Chișinău offers cultural spaces, cafes, and the vibrancy of contemporary life, while just beyond its limits, quiet villages, lush fields, and serene rivers unfold. This balance is subtle, yet it defines the essence of the nation: resilience, continuity, and authenticity. As evening falls, the country transforms. Hills glow golden in the last rays of the sun, rivers mirror the fiery sky, and forests settle into gentle shadows. In this moment, Moldova feels timeless, suspended between past and present, inviting visitors to pause, reflect, and absorb its rhythms. It is in these moments that the country's quiet magic reveals itself most profoundly in the way it lingers in memory, shaping not just what you see, but how you feel. Moldova's greatest wonder, then, is not a location, but a state of experience. It is in walking slowly through villages, listening to the river, tasting the wine, feeling the forest, and noticing the details often overlooked in the rush of modern life. It teaches patience, awareness, and connection lessons that stay long after the journey ends. As we conclude this exploration, the truth is undeniable. Moldova does not need to shout to be remarkable. Its power lies in subtlety, in authenticity, and in the way it invites each visitor to engage deeply, reflect fully, and leave with more than memories, with a part of the land, its people, and its enduring spirit forever imprinted on the heart. Moldova is a quiet marvel, a living story, a place where history, culture, and nature meet, teaching us that the most extraordinary wonders are often those that exist patiently, persistently, and profoundly waiting for the traveler who truly pays attention to discover them. As we reach the very conclusion of our journey through Moldova, a deeper truth about this extraordinary country begins to emerge. Moldova's greatest wonders are not flashy monuments or crowded tourist sites, but the subtle, enduring, and authentic experiences woven into its land, people, and culture. This final part of Chapter 10 invites us to reflect on the lessons, stories, and emotions that linger long after leaving this remarkable country. The essence of Moldova lies in its ability to make the ordinary feel profound. A winding river, a centuries-old monastery, a small family vineyard, each carries the weight of history and human connection. The Nista River, for example, does not roar with dramatic waterfalls or impose itself on the landscape. Instead, it flows steadily and quietly, shaping valleys, nourishing farmland, and providing life for generations. Watching its calm waters, one realizes that power often comes in subtlety, continuity, and patience. Orheiul Vechi, with its striking cliffs and cave monasteries, reminds us that the meeting of human spirit and nature can create enduring beauty. Here, centuries of devotion are etched into stone. Monks carved sanctuaries not to impress, but to live simply, pray sincerely, and coexist with the land. Standing at the cliff's edge, overlooking the river valley below, it is easy to feel a connection with those who lived here long ago, a connection that transcends time, speaking to the endurance of faith, resilience, and harmony with nature. The villages scattered across Moldova offer another kind of wonder. Wooden houses with painted shutters, gardens bursting with flowers and vegetables, and courtyards filled with life are all vivid examples of a culture rooted in continuity. Here, traditions are not preserved for tourists. They are lived daily, baking bread in clay ovens, weaving textiles by hand, celebrating seasonal festivals, and sharing meals with neighbors all create a rhythm of life that is deeply human and profoundly grounding. Visitors who slow down enough to participate, to share a meal, help in a vineyard, or join in a festival experience Moldova not as a spectacle, but as a living culture. Wine, more than any other product of the land, symbolizes Moldova's patience and dedication. Miles of vineyards stretch into the horizon, and underground cellars, such as Cricova and Milestii Mici, hold millions of bottles, some aging for decades. Each bottle represents generations of knowledge, care, and persistence. Sampling wine here is not merely tasting, it is participating in a story that began centuries ago. A story of people, place, and passion intertwined. Every sip is a lesson in patience, craftsmanship, and the beauty of small, deliberate acts sustained over time. Nature in Moldova is equally remarkable. The forests of Codri, with their towering oaks and dense undergrowth, are living archives of resilience and life. Deer and foxes move quietly beneath the canopy. Birdsong fills the air, and every season brings a different layer of beauty. In spring, flowers carpet the forest floor. In autumn, leaves blaze in gold and crimson. In winter, frost softens the world into silence. Walking through these woods, it is easy to understand why Moldova's landscapes inspire reflection, humility, and awe. Even the cities contribute to the country's subtle charm. Chișinău, the capital, may show traces of modernity, but it retains authenticity. Streets lined with cafes, markets, and cultural spaces blend seamlessly with green spaces, fountains, and historic architecture. The city feels alive, yet approachable, offering a bridge between Moldova's past and its evolving present. Ultimately, Moldova's wonder is a cumulative experience. It is the sum of quiet moments in villages, the grandeur of nature experienced slowly, the shared joy of a meal or a glass of wine, and the reflection inspired by ancient sites like Orheiul Vechi. It is not a country to rush through. It is a place to immerse in, to listen to, and to carry forward in memory. As the sun sets on the rolling hills, rivers, forests, and vineyards, a profound serenity settles across the land. Moldova's stories, its landscapes, and its people leave an indelible mark on the traveler's heart. The country teaches that true wonder does not need to shout. It thrives in subtlety, patience, and authenticity. And so, as our journey concludes, one truth remains. Moldova is not just a destination. It is a living story, a quiet marvel, and a place where history, culture, nature, and human spirit meet in perfect harmony. To visit is to witness something timeless, to feel something profound, and to carry a piece of its enduring magic forever. Moldova does not demand to be admired. It waits patiently for those who seek connection, offering in return a wealth of wonder, reflection, and unforgettable experience, the ultimate reward for any traveler willing to see with care, listen with attention, and embrace the richness of life itself. As our journey through Moldova comes to an end, one truth becomes clear. This is a country that doesn't need grand monuments to impress. Its beauty lies in authenticity, in quiet moments, in the harmony of people, nature, and history. From the serene forests of Codri to the mystical caves of Orheiul Vechi, from the rich wines aging in underground cellars to the vibrant life in its villages, Moldova leaves an imprint not just on your eyes, but on your heart. Here, travel is not a checklist. It's an experience, a connection to land, tradition, and spirit that stays with you long after you leave. Moldova is a subtle marvel, a living story, and a hidden gem waiting for those willing to pause, reflect, and embrace its timeless charm. So let this journey inspire you to see beyond the obvious, to explore patiently, and to discover the quiet wonders of the world, because the most extraordinary places are often the ones that whisper, not shout. Moldova, a hidden wonder that will stay with you forever. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.